Um, Hello. This is going to be a video blog about the school play, Shadow Queendom. Um, it was a play presented at Newton College. I was at the IB second year was in charge of making the play with the first year for the IB. Me and my companions, from were directors on production, stagecraft um, leaders. Um, First of all, I would like to summarize some of the things, like, for example, the fact that the play was made for the Diamond Jubilee of the Queen of England, and that it was an exploration of power as an illusion by using puppets as a mean of power and masks representing identity. Um, I am not as proud as I could be, or people think I am, about the play, because it wasn't as great as it could have been, as the potential we could have achieved if we had worked a lot harder. Uh, for example, at the beginning of the play, maybe I was excited because it was going to be like the play we are going to make, but then at the middle of the play, we started seeing it as myself at least. I thought of it like a duty, not something I really enjoyed. So I started like going to the rehearsals and improvising the directing, which I really regret right now because at the end I saw that it really was a counterproductive in a really massive way. Uh, I learned towards the end of the rehearsals how I was supposed to, like, I started putting a lot of more effort into it, but not as much as I could have, which I also regret. I could have done a much better job directing the play. On at least the main thing I learned, and I didn't do, was go to the rehearsals with my mind already knowing how the play should look, how the scene was going to be performed, how the transitions were going to be done, how what movements, how the actor should be, and all of that, which I didn't, and I improvised it during the rehearsals, which was a very major flaw in what I did. I shouldn't have done it, and now I regret it. I can't do it again. Um, the script writing was always done at last moment. Like some scenes were written on the act or written the day before, and lines kept changing all of the time towards the end of the play, which isn't really something that should have happened. But although the script did turn out to be not as bad as it could have been because of what we did, it was not as clear. This was due to two factors. Two factors. The first one, the pronunciation of the actors, which in first place it is an English play for a Spanish-speaking audience, which from the beginning doesn't make it so easy for people to understand and for actors to speak a bit. And the English of the script I wrote, many of it was some English that wasn't so simple and direct. It was more complex, and most of the audience maybe couldn't have understood it. Um, this leads to a question, which I will leave for the end of the vlog. But also, many of the things I learned as directing that I should have applied a lot more is, for example, the intonation that characters should have. Like actors can't just appear on stage, say their lines, and go. Each line has to have a special effect, a special essence that makes the character, like, builds up the character, that makes the audience see how the character really is. That makes up theater. The intonation is one of the most important factors that an actor has to take into account. Also, no monologues. That is something that bores the people, the audience a lot, unless there is a way to escape from it. Like, for example, making it a dialogue. Like, divide the monologue to two characters and make them speak short lines at a time. Also, a very major thing is to avoid the awkward time, which is pauses between lines. That each actor should speak slowly, clear, with high volume and everything, but there should be no pauses between actors, because that makes the dynamism of the play a lot fall a lot, and it bores the audience. And other basic rules for directing is one, and I learned the hard way. It's that theater is not like cinema. You can't have a special power such as magic appear on stage. The closest thing you can have are lights, and it doesn't come close to how it should be. For example, on scene 10, there was a part in which Matilda, the princess, had to shoot a beam of power that the magician gave her to the evil queen. But this didn't look as good as it was in my head, as I couldn't vision how it was going to be performed. That's one of my companions, however you want to call them, from maybe does have this vision, but he was not directing. Maybe I could have asked for some help if I didn't have it clear. But at the beginning, I really thought it would work, and then I realized it did not. And when I say I learned it the hard way, was in the final performance when I saw it on stage, and I didn't see what I expected to see. It was not as the feeling that the feeling that it had to put in the audience on the stage wasn't as it could have been, because it is not cinema; it is a stage. Also, there's the details of the play. This could be related to our thoughts, fear of cruelty, that every single detail has to be correct. You can't have any flaws. You have to make every movement, every detail, every piece of costume, every prop, every line, every word, every single detail perfect, so that, because any flaw can break the scene completely. For example, if in the scene of, let's put as an example, the scene of the ghosts, that they were all hooded with a hood. If they're all hooded at the same time, they're all unhooded at the same time, it creates an effect. If some of them were with the hood on and some had the hood off at a certain moment, it breaks the effect. You see that there is a flaw. You realize there are actors and they are not really ghosts. Like, it really breaks the effect on the audience. That's one example. There are many more, and also there's also that you can't. You can't expect the actors to be perfect. They're not professional actors. They're high school students. They're just one that don't know much about acting, but so you have to push them to their limits. You have to make them do everything as best as I can, even if it means shouting at them until they do something. Then the script writing was with English, well, a level of English that many of people in the audience couldn't understand because it is Peru and it is not an English-speaking country. For example, in scene 7, my stubbornness of putting in the line "and sex the pagan whispers." That is sounds really cool, but I bet no one in the audience that is the second that does not have a really high understanding of the English tongue could have gotten really into like if they don't understand it, they will just leave it by because there are other things happening on stage and they can't stop to think about it. They're just going to be entertained most because it's a school play. Our target audience is not going to the theater to reflect. They just want to see their children act. And it was my stubbornness to put that line that I won't say I regret because I really like that line as my piece of work. But it wasn't for our target audience. Maybe in other circumstances, it could have worked a lot better. Also, this comes to my final question, which is that what extent or what limitations does the quality of one aspect affect the quality of the whole performance? Like it can be counterproductive. Like the quality of English, even if it is so high for this target audience specifically, it was not. Instead of improving it could have worsened it. So maybe sometimes leaving something really simple makes it best. So how does the quality of a work is measured when it is really high quality? Into what scale? It could be. Is it actually the scale of how much does the author offer adapts to the target audience to make it the best work for that target audience, or is it actually how good the play is? Doesn't matter what the audience is or who it is intended to, just the piece of work itself. There is a question that arose on me when I was thinking about writing the script in a really complicated English. All the mistakes I have done directing this play are maybe I should have known from before to make this directing as best as possible, but maybe I should just let it go and learn from my mistakes from the independent and the TPPP. Yeah, the oral presentation. It could have been really useful to know all of this when making the practical performance presentation, but that has gone by now, and I have just to focus on what is to come. It has only been 2 days since the final, 1 day since the final performance, and I haven't really had time to reflect upon my mistakes. I only know what the mistakes are, but I don't really have found the clear solutions or what I have learned about it. I just know them, and maybe next week in the next video blog I will have more profound thoughts about what I could have done better, what should I have done, what shouldn't have I done, what is the role of the directing really about, what is it not, what did I think at the beginning and what do I think now, because it is really different. I have a really different perspective on how it is, what it is to direct right now than what I did at the beginning of the year. And well, my final question is that to what extent does overlapping or spilling the quality of one aspect of the play can act counterproductively to the other aspects of the play and the play in general, or any piece of art or any piece of work. Okay, that is all for this blog.